Hello, welcome to Dirt Floor Chats. Today's edition is Papua New Guinea, which is the third section of Papua New Guinea. Just a quick recap, I was in Australia. I'm trying to get in the picture, but we're working with a lot of technical issues here at the Dirt Floor Chats. I was in Papua New Guinea for about 3 weeks. When I went over there, everybody in Australia said that they were going to kill me. I was supposed to come back in a body bag with my head chopped off. Turned out to be an amazing trip, completely nothing of any of that sort. I was with a family that had groups of families in 3 different sections. This section today is on the Sepic region. It's by the coast. This is actually where the family was originally from. I had been in the mountain region of the highlands at Mount Hagen, and they said, let's go down to the coast. So they got me in a little plane, and off I went. So we'll go over the slides from here now. Okay. So we took off. We had landed, this is a grass landing field. Because I was up in the mountains and that's the way everything was. It was pretty remote and small. Got to go over some amazing mountain scenery on the way down to the coast. And I had also seen this scenery on the way down when they had just barely got me in a plane that was full, but they gave me the jump seat. So it was, once again, this incredible trip over the mountains. And then we headed to the coastal region. Those are sailboats. I'm not sure if you can see them. And I was in this little village. Again, I was staying with the family there, and they had a couple of different locations, structures, I should say, inside their village. Whenever I brought my camera out, everybody wanted to be there. So I took a picture, and then the kids were like, I want to get in. So got a lot of pictures of them. This is the house on the left side, and behind it is the kitchen. That's another view of the house, and here's the kitchen. This is Skola. She's the lady that was the matriarch of the family there. She's probably about, I can't remember if she was 42 or 45. Her teeth are that red, as you'll see with several of the other members of the family, because they like the betel nut, and I'll explain that. But she was an incredibly gracious woman. She let me stay at her house. This is the betel nut. They mix it with this nut. Then they use lime and one other thing. Anyway, it's kind of an intoxicating thing, so they just barely let me try it once because it's kind of like chewing tobacco, I suppose. But they really loved it. This is Benjamin. He was this really curious young child. He kept up with me. We wrote letters a lot for years. He got into photography. I sent him a Pentax K1000, the sturdy camera, and he took pictures. And but let's see. One of the cool things about being there, well, one thing, it was extremely, extremely hot. What I remember was sitting around in the room, in the hallway, from about 1 to 3:30. Just the only thing that entertained me was feeling my sweat drip down my body, drip down between my knees, under my breasts, down my back. At some point, I would always know that it had shifted. I could feel this change, that it wasn't as hot anymore, and we'd made it through the day. This is the room they gave me. Michael Jackson pictures on the wall there. Those were Benjamin's. I was sleeping one night. Skola got really nervous because apparently I was slapping a mosquito. So she got me a net, which it's really pretty, but if you ever slept under a mosquito net, it is really hot in the tropics, which is exactly where Papua New Guinea is in August. It's already pretty hot. So it looks nice, but it wasn't really cool. This is the outhouse that I got to use. It was probably the nicest outhouse that I used while I was over there. And the kids were really friendly. Skola spoke a tiny bit of English. There was one of her sons also spoke a little bit, but a lot of them didn't speak any English. So we just kind of wandered around. They swept their space every day so that it was all nice and clean. One day we went out into one of the ladies. She had kind of been a little uncertain about me being there, I guess. And then one day we went into the jungle just on the other side of where their village was, where she just started picking leaves off the trees. And that's what we had for dinner that night. If you ever have eaten leaves off of trees that are growing right by the ocean, they are the saltiest things in the world. It was pretty difficult to eat. This baby loved my hammock. I had carried my hammock with me, and then when they took that baby out, he would start crying. He was so upset. He loved that hammock. This is the car they had. It was behind a cage, but I left the hammock with them when I left because they loved it so much. This is a little bit of the inside of the kitchen. They fed me like a queen. They gave me so much food. It was really different food. It was all very tasty. Probably the leaves off of the trees were the most difficult thing to eat. I was a vegetarian at the time, and they were very, very accommodating for me with that. This is one of the things that I had for breakfast. And there are a lot of coconut trees. So they were pretty self-reliant. There was a village that was further in, and we went to that on occasion. One time we did go there. This is Benjamin getting some ice cream. Everybody loves ice cream everywhere. This is just one of the areas that we passed. The town that we went into had one little road and probably 4 or 5 buildings, but mostly it was like this. These are the coconuts that they had for sale, and those are papayas. They are massive. Also, Papua New Guinea has like 8 or 10, God, I don't remember how many now, all kinds of different bananas. They are so good. They got these little honey bananas that are super sweet. It was really very, very delicious, all the different places. Then I got some food. Betel nut, that's what it looks like in the raw. And so Scola gave me an enormous amount of gifts. This is actually taken at the airport. It says you can't spit betel nut inside. It says it in English and in Pidgin, and I don't know which the other one is. But everybody that's local eats it, chews it. Any of the foreigners are technically, it's illegal. It would be like being able to smoke pot if you were a Native American in New Mexico, but as a non-native, it would be illegal. So that's kind of what betel nut was. But Scola gave me these gifts from her wedding dowry when I was there. Some coconut leaves with shells sewn on them. She gave me a necklace that had been her husband's. He had passed away. She gave me those with all these dog teeth on it that he had made. So it's just, the opposite of somebody attacking me and coming after me. It was just an incredible time. But there's also a couple other things that they did when I was there. I have determined to make these shorter, so they're only 10 minutes. And this is one of the town dogs. Dogs in poor places and not necessarily the best kept. They also took me to a couple of places because I was really intrigued with all the art. And they took me to a few places where I could pick up some amazing things from there. This is actually from their uncle. That's a Kundalini drum, just like the ones that they played in the Highland Games, that is carved from one single tree. I still have that little crocodile drum and a few of the other things, but I didn't end up getting that one. So next time around, I am going to talk about some of the other activities that they let me participate in and that they did just as their daily lives, and I got to watch and photograph. Ciao!